how good can this Tony Bennett team be?
Well, the question mark lies wherein, you have all 5 returning starters from an NIT team that a game like this last year, they lost.
Mm-hmm.
They struggle at times offensively. We know Tony Bennett's style of play forces teams to play to a full shot clock. I think they're going to struggle against length, looking at Florida State being a team that's not as talented this year as we know, and the other hurdles that they face, but just only scoring 21 points in the first half against a Florida State team defense that has been bad all year. You did see early in that second half, they scored 13 points quick in the first 2.5. It's just like, who are you going to get? Are they going to put both sides together? One thing that we can rely on with Virginia is their free throw line rate, their free throw rate. They're going to in the season being a top 10 team at the free throw line. But offensively, I don't know what their ceiling is. I don't think it's very high, even though in that Baylor game they looked great. But we just saw what happened to Baylor against Marquette. So how good is Baylor really right now? What is that win going to mean down the road? I think obviously a tournament team. I don't think there's a large gap of saying that they're running away with the ACC or anything like that right now. I think North Carolina is going to figure things out. They're just too talented to not. I think North Carolina is dealing with a little bit of human nature.
A nice way to say it.
Well, I would just say, I look back at my Florida team, and we were coming back after my junior year. Fortunately, we were able to figure it out super early in the season. But the work that you have to put in, regardless of the outside expectations, you cannot worry about, you forget what happened last year being in the national championship game. You have to work. The mindset needs to be, we need to work 10 times as hard and be even better, so much even better that everyone's back and we have this opportunity in front of us. Because as soon as you were teams salivate at the opportunity to beat the number 1 team all year long, to have that over your head. But when it comes to, I think Virginia has a really good opportunity to be a Sweet 16 team as I'm looking at right now. It's going to depend on matchups. It's really hard to get a team to sit down and play defense for 30 seconds all game long. And because I hated doing that. I hated when we played them every single time. But we were able to come away with wins. We'll see. It's got to start. It was just interesting to see that they struggle with the Florida State team, as you said, that is 1-9. And I hate to see that for little Hamilton, as good as he's been these last few years. I really, really wish we could have seen what that 2020 team would have done. I think that was probably the best team he's had in his tenure. But as we know, that season got ended by COVID. Hopefully when Baba Miller comes back, he's able to play. He'll be a spark for this team to turn things around, not turn things around in the sense of making the tournament, but in the sense of making it. Maybe they can win. Maybe they can mix things up and get an ACC tournament, at least make it to the championship game. But this season has definitely been one of the worst for them.
It's hard for them, man, with so many injuries. Like everything that they do is based on depth and the fact that you just have wave after wave after wave of long, athletic, switchable, strong, tough, 6'8" dudes with 7'2" wingspans. They just got like an endless supply of aliens they throw at you. And there's 13 of them on the roster, and every one of them is going to play just as hard as the guy that's the top.
Where does he get these guys from? Like,
seriously. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think all he does is he must go to like the databases where everybody's length is listed and just be like, find me the longest wingspans that you got. If they got a 7'4" wingspan, I don't care about anything else. Give them a scholarship offer. That's got to be what it is. As in terms of Virginia, I think that they are the favorite to win that conference right now. For no other reason than they play Duke once at home. That's it. They also get Louisville twice. They get Florida State twice. They get Boston College twice. They get Syracuse twice. So one of their road games is at Pitt, right? So they have a very fortuitous schedule in terms of the bad teams. In terms of the bad teams in the ACC. I also just think the guys on the roster figured it out this season, Sweeney. Whether it's Jaden Gardner, whether it's Armand Franklin, and Reese Beekman to me is the difference maker, because now all of a sudden you got a pro on your roster who happens to be your best on-ball defender, who happens to also be someone that can like play a secondary point guard role. Like I just think that he's such a great a great complementary piece when like you don't necessarily need a leader because you got Kihei out there, right? You don't necessarily need a guy that's going to get you 30 every single night because you got Jaden Gardner who can win a matchup. You got Armand Franklin who can win a matchup. He just does everything that you need a basketball player to do as like the second best player on a team. So I'm in on Virginia. We're going to find out Saturday, December 17th. We're going to find out. That's when they play Houston.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I think Beekman's been awesome, like you said. I think, though, the growth from Armand Franklin from year 1 to year 2 as a transfer has been critical for this offense. Talk about inconsistent shot making. That was such a story for them last year, just not being able to make shots at a high enough level to win games, especially against good teams. And he's been really, really good. I will say, I think Virginia has looked a lot more mortal the last couple of games after the Baylor domination, where you're like, oh boy, like this team's back to Final Four Tony Bennett, right? And the reason why is that the shooting has cooled off, right? Like early in the season, they were bombs away from 3. The last 4 games, they've made 5, 5, 4, and 5 threes. And if this team is just okay shooting the basketball, or it's or maybe it's not even a strength, which we'll see right now, like they're shooting 42% as a team, but at low volume, and a lot of that's those first 3 games. I do worry a little bit about them offensively and getting to that next tier. But I think in the ACC, they're going to be very consistent. Their defense has taken a step forward this year because guys are a little bit more comfortable in the pack line. I think with Gardner and Franklin, that's especially the case. And Beekman is just a complete game record defensively and with the stuff he's able to do. So, yeah, I think they're probably just ahead of Carolina and Duke in the ACC because of the schedule, the stability with them. And, I think the lingering questions we have about both Duke and Carolina, but in terms of their national status, I do wonder if maybe we're blowing them up a little bit too much too early, just because I do think the shooting is starting to come back to earth.
Yeah, I don't think that we are right now. I think that they're probably one of the best teams in college basketball right now. I would say Duke
right now, sure, that's fair.
Both have a higher ceiling because they're more talented. But listen, this has been the Field of 68 After Dark. We've been here for an hour. Make sure you check out our merch store, field68.shop. We got a lot of new gear in there. We got a couple new collections coming in. Make sure that if you're listening to this, you subscribe to the Field of 68 Daily. It is the free college basketball newsletter that we have every morning, 8:30 a.m. It is in your inbox, 1,000 words, sometimes more, to get you caught up on everything that's happened in college basketball. And also, Field of 12 After Dark is starting right now over on the Field of 12 YouTube channel. Our producer Trevor is going to drop a link in the chat, maybe in the comments below. So if you're watching this now, head over there because they got a lot to talk about, a lot more interesting stuff too going on. Football championship Saturday. So for Kevin Sweeney, for Patrick Young, for our producer Trevor, my name is Rob Doster. Thanks for being here. Field of 68 After Dark.